superstardom of Let's Elope and Might and Power in the 90s. The early international raiders, Torfin's Melody, who went where angels feared to tread, and All the Good a decade later. Desperado ploughing through the wettest cup mud a decade ago to give Gay her first cup to add to her dad TJ's 4. The Melbourne Cup winners repeating the dose at Caulfield the following year. Viewed for Bart's record 7th, and Dunedin from last with 58 kilos in 2012. The rise of the Japanese at Mairakti in 14.
And Mairakti in the last stride.
And Murder Glass last year. A race day that simply has it all. The toughest horses, the best jockeys, the most astute trainers, all striving to win the first Australian major of the spring. And the great news is that finally the sun has arrived for the horses to enter the yard here for the Stella Artois Caulfield Cup. $5 million up for grabs, the 144th running of this classic. And what a field we've got. An Epsom Derby winner and Anthony Van Dyke with 58.5 kilos. Huey Bowman for Aidan O'Brien, the master trainer who's trained over 340 Group 1s all around the world. Can he capture this? Can he capture his first Caulfield Cup? Maybe his son might be the one that is the fly in the ointment with Buckhurst. Could we see the first Irish-trained horse to win? Or Chris Waller with his mountain of superstars all around Australia. He has 3 runners in the Caulfield Cup, and he has the favourite, the New Zealand-bred mare in Very Elegant. We're set for an outstanding race. 18 runners, 8 of them are already Group 1 winners. It's going to be a cracker. The Stella Artois Caulfield Cup. Jane Ivell and Grace Ramage are no doubt excited about the Cup.
Well, the countdown to the Caulfield Cup is well and truly on. We're not far away from the race we've all been waiting for all afternoon. Grace, I know there's a couple of runners that you've managed to narrow it down to with such an even field. Talk us through what you like in today's Cup.
Well, it's a Caulfield Cup. We've got a full field, $5 the field. I know so many people can make a case for so many horses, but you're right. I've got it down to about 3 or 4. And my heart says Very Elegant. She has just done absolutely nothing wrong in her career to date. She's a 5-time Group 1 winner, and we know that the way that the track is racing and the fact that there is some give in the ground, it's only going to suit her. Now, 2,400 metres, she's unbeaten. I'm with her today. I like the barrier draw midfield. I think Mark Zara will get her into a nice position, get her deep and in clear galloping room when he needs to. So, look, she's going to have absolutely every chance today, Very Elegant. I also really like Master of Wine. I know that this is a horse that you're keen on as well, Jane, because for me it just seems like this is the grand final. He's been following a weight for age and set weights path to this point. He drops in weight. Craig Williams in the saddle. They're probably the 2, and then Anthony Van Dyke. It's hard to knock him, isn't it?
It's such an exciting race ahead of us. I tend to agree with you with Very Elegant. I think even watching racing unfold today gives you that little bit more confidence about her chances, and of course being little old Kiwi red, I'm certainly in her camp. Master of Wine, you're 100% right. His build-up has been terrific into this race. Just even watching him in the yard, he's made really significant progress each time that I've seen him, and I think he peaks today too from that point of view. He's probably been a little bit unlucky in a couple of his build-up races as well. So down in the weights, Craig Williams well drawn. If Craig Williams can deliver a peach of a ride, I think Master of Wine's right in it as well. And I was lucky enough just to go and have a look at Anthony Van Dyke for the first time. And look, he is very settled out the back here. He's so well travelled that, as you would expect, he's pretty at home wherever they tie him up in the tie-up stalls. But I have been told he'll get a little bit worked up when he gets into the mounting yard. But what an exciting addition to this year's race.
And then you've got a horse like Mirage Dancer, who's coming off winning a Metropolitan and was so good in this race last year. You absolutely cannot overlook him as well. And Toffee Tongue, she's there with a absolute minimum weight, 51 kilograms. She's drawn to get the most economical run. So, look, it's a Caulfield Cup. I just cannot wait to see who the winner's going to be.
I know, we've got Avilius, we've got Finch, we've got Prince of Aaron. We're probably no help to anybody out there, but really excited for what's coming up in the Caulfield Cup.
For the Stella Artois Caulfield Cup, the Group 1 race, 8 Group 1 winners in the field of 18, and an Epsom Derby winner with 58.5 kilos. No Irish trainers ever won the Caulfield Cup. Can Aidan O'Brien, the master trainer, present Anthony Van Dyke to win the Caulfield Cup.
He sure can, Rich. Very high. They don't come with any better credentials, to be honest. His run in the Pre-Foire was terrific, and of course, over a mile and a half, the Coronation Cup placing along with the Breeders' Cup Turf. So he's travelled and performed well, and if he's arrived bringing his A game, I think he can carry the weight and defy those stats that suggest that he can't.
Jane, your first look at him, how is the entire son of Galileo?
Well, look, I love the way he handles himself, and he was so relaxed out the back, and he's actually been really relaxed since he wandered into the yard too. He's got a couple of strappers on him, and at the moment we haven't seen him break out into a sweat, so he's really just taking everything in his stride. Looks terrific in the coat, can't fault him.
Yeah, traditionally does get a little warm, but the son of Galileo's handling this beautifully at the moment. Here's a three-time Group 1 winner. His name is Avilius, 4th in a Cox Plate, 7th in another Cox Plate, down the track in a Melbourne Cup. Can he win a Caulfield Cup?
He's very consistent, and we know he likes Caulfield as well. Like you said, he's run a couple of nice races here, and this is his perfect distance range. So 4th run of the prep, a little bit of cushion in the track. He should be ready to go with a leading stable, and he's not difficult to make a case for.
Brilliant parade by him. He's very healthy in the skin, great colour, really well prepared for this 4th up run of the campaign. I'd say he's at his peak. Don't leave him out.
Damien Oliver trying to equal Scobie Breesley and win his 5th Cup. He teams up with Danny O'Brien on the Melbourne Cup winner, Vow and Declare.
Exactly, and look, I think they both run. The first up run in the Mackay Deep from Vow and Declare was terrific. I thought it was probably the look of a Melbourne Cupper in the Turnbull. And I don't see him turning the tables on a few of those unless Ollie can produce something special.
Then we move to number 4 in Buckhurst. Ben Mellum so close on Homesman in 2018, and he was 3rd 3 times as well. Joseph O'Brien.
Has a feel to it, this horse, doesn't it? That he has been well prepared, set for the race, well weighted, and obviously from a team and an ownership group that know what it takes to win these races. So I think he's a big chance in the race, and I like his overall profile.
Very relaxed. He's just dropped his head since he wandered into the yard. He's taking it all in his stride. Good-bodied horse, brilliant colour to his coat. He's got a nice hind quarter on him. I'm not finding too much wrong with him.
Torquay was the last Metrop winner to win the Caulfield Cup. That was way back in 2006. That's the assignment for Mirage Dancer.
At least he's arriving in good form. I thought it was a pretty gutsy win, lifted late from Nashua Willa, had a nice run in the race. We saw him run well in this race last year. Of course, that was his first run since arriving. So he's more seasoned, he's more acclimatised now, and he might be a little bit big in the market.
I thought when he stepped out at Moonee Valley that he produced the best parade that I had seen from him since he arrived in Australia. Then he went up to Sydney and won and has come back. All he's done is tighten up again since I last saw him. He's in career best form from a yard point of view because he looks great.
Here's last year's Ebor winner in Mustajir when he was trained by Ger Lyons. He's now with Chris Lees and Billy Egan. First Caulfield Cup ride.
Got a little bit to find, I suppose, out of that effort behind Mirage Dancer in the Metrop. But look, he drops a few kilos for that, and I suppose the other big positive is the state of the track. He's a 4-time winner on soft ground.
Here's our favourite, number 7, Very Elegant, 5 Group 1s on her CV.
Can understand why she's very popular. You know, her win in the Wink Stakes first up was awesome. She backed it up with a gutsy win in the Turnbull on good ground, and I've no doubt that she's better in these conditions. And yeah, she's a winner. We know that, and she's got to be a great chance for the Zara Waller combination.
I made the comment at Flemington that she's really furnished from a physical point of view, and she's grown up too, because she used to have a couple of strappers on her in the yard and she used to do a few things wrong. I just think she's the complete package now. She's done very well since we last saw her in the Turnbull.
Here's an English horse trained by Andrew Balding. Number 8, Dashing Willoughby, Michael Walker, draws barrier 1.
Yeah, Dashing Willoughby's probably reasonably light race, just career start number 14, and doesn't bring that elite form from the Northern Hemisphere, but by the same token, a pretty consistent galloper, and a lot of these are just improving at this stage of their career. So, look, I think probably has to find a little bit, but shouldn't be too far off them.
Well, Finch was 5th in this race last year. Now Damien Lane, who won the race, jumps on board.
Hasn't run too many bad races, has he, Finch? And he makes his own luck. He's usually close to the speed. Very extravagant action. I'm sure he'll be there a long way.
He's improved. I thought he had a little bit still to come in the Turnbull, and he's taken those necessary steps.
Prince of Arran, Jamie Carr, first Caulfield Cup ride, trained by Charlie Fellows.
Well, we've got Tom Marquand called Aussie Tom, and we nearly should call this bloke Aussie Prince, shouldn't we? Every time he comes down here, he just seems to find new levels with his form, and he produces some of his career best efforts, and he loves Caulfield. He races well here, and if he's come in better order, well, look out.
Yeah, thrives down here in Australia, and this is quite a typical parade from him. He's focused. Don't worry that he carries a little bit of weight around his middle. This is generally how we see him here in Australia.
Master of Wine for John Hawkes and his sons. Can they add another one to their CV?
Well, they're such a good team at setting horses for target races, and there's a sense of timing about Master of Wine, and they get the condition that they want, they get the weight that they want, the leading rider, and if the Turnbull is the right form, he might be the right horse.
Thought he improved links between his Mackay Diva and his Turnbull Parade. He's improved again. Dapples have come out across his hind quarter. He's one that is really peaking at the right time.
The Chosen One's an outsider this year. The blinkers go on.
Couldn't have found him first up. I think his form's been a bit lacklustre since.
We move to number 13, which is Warning. Luke Curry gets his first Caulfield Cup ride, and he's on the Derby winner.
If you're sitting at home looking for a bit of a rough hitter back, this might be the one. Warning. Both runs back have been outstanding. The track's not an issue, and this distance is preferable for him.
Only 3 horses have ever won the VRC Derby and come back and won a Caulfield Cup, and Elvstrom was one of those 16 years ago. Dalasan, runner-up in a South Australian Derby to Russian Camelot.
His only go over this distance range was highly creditable behind Russian Camelot. He brings that sort of form. Well, look out with Dalasan, who will be hard fit, and Wooly Pike is on board and, of course, riding better than ever.
Yeah, he's a horse that I think is maintained really nicely coming into today.
Number 15, the Irish mare, True Self for Willie Mullins and Declan Bates, his first Caulfield Cup ride.
Yeah, interesting with her. I mean, we've seen what she's really capable of. I'm not sure that she's come back this preparation or more recently. I suppose she's had a bit of a freshen. Her most recent runs haven't been great, but another one of these sort of Northern Hemisphere gallopers that arrived last year and raced very well here in Australia. Australasian
Oaks winner as a 3-year-old filly, now a 4-year-old mare, Toffee Tongue.
Great run and ride from Michael D behind Very Elegant. Look, she went down by a narrow margin, saved all the ground, but she gets here with 51 kilos, and we know she'll be better over this distance range following her effort in the Oaks behind Colette.
13 years ago, Master O'Reilly won the Herbert Power and backed up and won the Caulfield Cup. That's the assignment for Chapada.
I think Mike Moroney and his team have this horse peaking at the right time. Good win last. He ran well behind Order of the Garter first up, and the effort to win more recently in the Herbert Power was solid, so could do worse.
And Raheen House, the emergency, gains a start, and Daniel Moore takes the ride for Chris Lees. Chris Lees with 2 runners in the race.
Yeah, possible excuses, of course, both runs back, but it's just not the kind of form or prep that you want coming in.
Let's go through your top 4, Hutch, for the great race. The Stella Artois, Group 1 Caulfield Cup.
Deep contest, that's for sure, but I think the international raiders, which have come to the fore in recent years, might be doing so once again. And I think Anthony Van Dyke, even with the weight, he brings the class, and he might bring victory for the team as well. Buckhurst, I think, looks a big danger. Gee, Warning at $21 still makes plenty of appeal. And how can you knock Very Elegant? I went 1, 4, 13 and 7. Let's find out what Jane likes.
11 on top for me, Master of Wine. As I said, huge improvement between the Mackay Diva and the Turnbull. He was just so much more relaxed in the parade. He brightened up in the coat. Well, he's brightened up again. Dapples have come out across his hind quarter. He remained pretty settled till the jockey got on, so big plus for him. I think he's tracked in the right direction. So Master of Wine on top from me from the yard. This was a tough race to sort out. Avilius looks outstanding. Couldn't have got a horse in the yard with a more healthier skin on him. He was so bright in the coat. Very Elegant. She is just the complete package now. No knock on her parade. She presented very similar to what she did prior to winning the Turnbull. And Buckhurst of the internationals. I actually thought Buckhurst paraded a little bit better than Anthony Van Dyke. Anthony Van Dyke might be the class horse, but Buckhurst was great out in the parade ring today.
Isn't it? How does he line up in your mind? I mean, he meets Very Elegant, better off at the weights after that Turnbull run.
He's great. He's, you know, everything's been push button. This has been his race, and you know, you dream about getting here on the day right, and he's as good as we can get him. And you know, his coach just really starting to dapple up just nicely now. So everything's on song. He's drawn a great barrier. Willow needs a good winner this carnival. I just remind him of that. So he reminded me that it's okay. So.
Yeah, he's had a pretty good spring, hasn't he? So maybe this Caulfield, another Caulfield Cup for him. Where do you see him in the run? Where does your speed map have him?
Yeah, the speed map's in your head. We don't worry about speed maps too much, to be fair. You just want to have him, crazy structures. We're having wherever he's happy and balanced, But, I mean, he could very easily be running 5th, but he could be running 12th. But from barrier 7, you would hope you're going to get a great run, one off the fence somewhere. But mind you, there's 10 blokes want to be in that same spot. But the biggest thing with this race, Richo, is going out the straight the first time past the winner post. They're 5 and 6 deep and they're fighting for position. So hopefully we're just tucked away somewhere, and more importantly, that he goes to sleep.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Is Wayne Hawkes talking about this heavily backed runner, Master of Wine, who was brilliant this day 12 months ago, winning the Tattersalls Club Cup up in Sydney. Can he transform it here today again, 4th up from the
Yeah, he
start?
can. Like I said, I think, Team Hawkes is so good at setting horses for races. I think they'd be quietly pleased with the preparation for Master of Wine. And, under the conditions, there's a sense of timing. And the state of the track's not going to be a problem for him, and probably enhances his chances. So, but he's one of many. That's the case of quite a few runners here, Zed. It's that's the trick of lining a few of these up. You're going to need that little bit of luck. You need the right horse, and a lot of it's in the lap of the gods too.
Market here with Anthony Van Dyke just holding its price. Obviously, the highly touted Irish galloper who arrives here with a huge rating and a lot of expectation. But seems as though Very Elegant's just going to hold on to favouritism, but this is going to be an exciting contest. I'm with Very Elegant and Master of Wine. They're the two horses that I've had something on.
Yeah, OK, thanks, BZ. Just an interesting stat as they're loading in. No locally trained horse has won the Cup after winning their lead-up run over the past 10 years. That's Very Elegant, Chapada and Mirage Dancer all looking to do that. All right, the 2020 Stella Artois Caulfield Cup worth $5 million. Here's your caller, Matt Hill.
Winner at this distance, Mirage Dancer. Craig Newitt joins the line into barrier number 5. Chapada, the Herbert Power winner, is in the stalls. 6 horses have done the Herbert Power Caulfield Cup double. Here's Avilius. Johnny Allen for James Cummings and Godolphin, of course. James's granddad Bart won the race 7 times. Buckhurst about to load. Master of Wine goes in. Ridden by Craig Williams, who's won this with Dunedin in 2012 and Southern Speed before that in 2011. Very Elegant, the class mare, is about to join them now. Looking to be the 22nd mare to win the Caulfield Cup. Prince of Arran is in with the Melbourne Cup winner of last year, Vow and Declare. Finch joins a middle alley. Anthony Van Dyke, who's been a real professional in the pre-race, about to load. Warning to take an outside alley. And we await on Raheen House. Daniel Moore, that late alteration, sporting a white cap. Anthony Van Dyke goes up into barrier number 17 with Hugh Bowman. And to complete the line will be Raheen House for a unique running of the Stella Artois Caulfield Cup. Raheen House takes the outside and the field is set to run. They are ready, set, and they're racing in the Caulfield Cup. Master of Wine from barrier number 6 jumped away very well with Toffee Tongue. Dashing Willoughby stoked up from barrier number 1, and True Self not far away. Buckhurst looking for a position. The Chosen One behind them with Mirage Dancer. They were followed by Finch, and Very Elegant kept it wide, one off the fence and out deep at Dalasan from Prince of Arran. Then came Raheen House and Mustajir. Back in the field, Chapada as they leave the straight from Warning. Avilius, Anthony Van Dyke got back to about second last, and Vow and Declare is last, but it's Dashing Willoughby, the leader into the first turn in the Caulfield Cup. 1,800 metres to run, led by a length and a quarter. Second is Master of Wine. 2 for the back is Buckhurst. Third, the outside of True Self. A length and a half, the Chosen One, followed by Mirage Dancer. Then came Toffee Tongue, one off the fence, about 7 off the lead. Next, the inside is Raheen House. Finch is posted wide. Then came Very Elegant, 10 off the lead. A length and a half to Warning. Next in the field is Chapada deep from Mustajir. A length and a quarter, Dalasan, Avilius, and then Anthony Van Dyke. Second last in the race, Vow and Declare, and Prince of Arran is at the tail of the field as they top the hill. Through halfway in the Caulfield Cup at the 1,200, Dashing Willoughby slowed it up 3/4, Master of Wine. A length and 3/4, True Self. himself, and then Buckhurst. Next, the chosen one, Mirage Dancer. Further back is Finch, 7-3 wide around Toffee Tongue and Raheen House. Then Chapada, Very Elegant, and then came Dallas Sand Warning. Further back, Mustajir, Avilius, Anthony Van Dyke about to move 3 deep. Then Prince of Arran back with those is Vow and Declare. To the railway side, 800 metres to go. They stack up. Dashing Willoughby in front of Master of Wine. Buckhurst now eases. House. It's only 8 lengths first to last. Mirage Dancer shuffled back. Toffee Tongue, Very Elegant, moving now into the race. Only 3 off the lead, and back behind them, Dallasan. Anthony Van Dyke will be one of the widest around the corner. Master of Wine joined by Buckhurst. Finch deeper with Chapada. True Self cuts the corner. The chosen one presents as a chance. Very Elegant down the outside. It's True Self, Master of Wine at the 300 with the chosen one. And here's Very Elegant and Anthony Van Dyke below the 200. The chosen one grabbed by Very Elegant and Anthony Van Dyke. Very Elegant and Anthony Van Dyke. It's all class. Very Elegant and in front, and the bear won it. Very Elegant beat Anthony Van Dyke, the chosen one. 4th, Prince of Arran. Then came Finch and Avilius. Behind them, Buckhurst, Master of Wine. Further back in the field, Warning. And then came Vow and Declare, Mustajir, Chapada, Toffee Tongue, Dallas Gap, Raheen House, Mirage Dancer, and Dashing Willoughby will be last to complete in the 144th running of the Stella Artois Caulfield Cup.
What a sensational mare she is. She's able to win yet another Group 1. That's 6 on her CV. She adds a Caulfield Cup to the Oaks and the Tancred. What she's been able to do as a 3-year-old filly, now as a 5-year-old mare, is extraordinary. Chris Waller gets his first Caulfield Cup. Mark Zara's had a day to never, ever forget. He wins his first Caulfield Cup, and Very Elegant was able to do it and defeat an Epsom Derby winner in Anthony Van Dyke from the rear of the fields. Run an unbelievable race. The race changed complexion in the last 200 metres. The chosen one has jumped out of his skin to run the race of his life in a race that we'll watch a number of times. We saw Prince of Arran hitting the line really stylishly. He's run into 4th, if you don't mind. 7-1, 12 and 10. 7-1, 12 and 10. Very Elegant defeats Anthony Van Dyke. The chosen one at a huge price. Number 10, Prince of Arran, runs 4th. 9, Finch runs 5th. And Avilius runs 6th. And Nick, she's a beauty.
Oh, is she what, Richo? She won the Tancred in the autumn over this trip, running a career peak figure, and then she's got the job done here again today, Hutchie. We weren't sure where she was at. The Turnbull win was only a narrow one, but back onto these soft conditions, she's just a different animal. Yes,
an Australian victory. What a race. It was exactly what we wanted. We had some of the best from the Northern Hemisphere here. They laid down the gauntlet, and Very Elegant, Mark Zara, Chris Waller answered the call. It was a fantastic race. Let's hear from winning rider Mark Zara.
Well, it's one thing winning Group 1s, Mark, but what's it like winning a major?
I was saying, look, I think it was crossing the line was, I've dropped my rein here, this is going to look shit house. But no, it's a great feeling. Yeah, gee, she's tough, you know, that horse joined her, and forward out, you know, this is, to win a cup, fortunately no crowd, but to win a cup is, yeah, it's amazing.
Tell us about her. She's not an easy horse to ride. She's hot-headed. She's come a long way from her first campaign. We always knew she was going to be a star, but it's taken your soft hands to get her to relax.
Yeah, I don't know if the soft hands have got her the job, but she's just, you know, like when she gets 2,400, it was the main thing to get her in a rhythm, and I was in not a bad spot, and the stablemate was sort of putting a bit of pressure on me to go to the fence, which she didn't like, but all I wanted to do was get to the outside, and I tried to be a bit cheeky, sort of come to the 10 and get out there, which I didn't get there, so I had to wait, but I went the next set, and I had to give a bit of a razzle up on the turn, but like I say, she was very tough.
Now, how's Mark Zara going to celebrate a Group 1 victory like this?
I tell the missus to put about 10 bottles of champagne on ice, and I suppose all we can do is drink them together.
Well, I know we don't have the atmosphere here today, but hopefully you get it tonight. Well done, mate.
Thanks, Rizzy. Cheers, mate.
Good on you.
And congratulations to Chris Waller's team. And I say it's a team, and Joe Taylor's front and centre down here in Melbourne. Joe, congratulations to you and everyone involved. The first Caulfield Cup for Chris.
Thank you so much, Richo. And like you said, couldn't be stressed enough what a big team effort it is. Sydney have done a fantastic job getting her to where she was to come down here, and then our team down here as well, which work tirelessly and certainly deserve a big win like this. So well done to everybody involved.
She's an unbelievable endurance athlete, and she is an athlete. We've seen her over race as a 3-year-old filly, but that's all now distant memory. She's extraordinary.
Yeah, absolutely. She's just kept maturing with age, and you would imagine she'd continue to do that as she steps up, and hopefully this year we will head on to a Melbourne Cup, and the further she goes, she seems to be stronger, and like you say, just a phenomenal endurance athlete. And Mark did a great job at one stage, looking like we were going to be caught on the fence, and he made sure he stayed off. They went really slow through those midsections, and he kept her out of trouble, and she was certainly very tough.
And it'd give Chris a lot of satisfaction, wouldn't it? We're going to chat to him courtesy of Channel 7 shortly, but I can imagine he'll be just ecstatic.
Oh, absolutely, and so deserving. It's a race that everybody wants to win, and it's eluded us, so to have this one today certainly means a lot.
Well, you're a big part of it, Joe. Hey, there's some Stella Artois coming your way. Get a bucket full of those and send them around the staff, please. Well done.
We won't miss them, I can tell you that.
Great stuff.
Thanks.
Yeah, sensational there from Joe Taylor, and congratulations to all concerned with Very Elegant. A powerhouse display from the popular mare, just gets the better of Anthony Van Dyke in what was a thrilling edition of the Caulfield Cup. The finish was obviously quite exciting, but we're going to go back to the start, and Hugh Bowman on Anthony Van Dyke had to begin from one of the outside gates. Here's where Very Elegant began from. Here's where Anthony Van Dyke. Both of them get back in the field. Many may have anticipated Hugh Bowman going forward, but he just wasn't able to muster enough speed. And basically at this point of the race, you can see his decision and the thought process is just to straight away now to come back and try and find some cover. And all importantly, Mark Zahra, as he goes past the winning post the first time, he's on the fence, getting a lovely run back in transit. And I was coming back to you, Hutchie and Nick, I think that's been the difference between first and second.
Yeah, I tend to agree with you, BZ. A little bit too much work for AVD to do from about the 800-metre mark, having settled sort of 3 or 4 lengths, maybe more, away from Very Elegant. Hey, winning time, about 3.5 lengths slower than the class average on a soft 6. Hutchie, what else can we add?
What else? Well, I think Mark Zahra, great ride. He knows this man wants to get to the outside. He had to wait his time, so I'm not sure. So through those middle stages, it was key to get the right run, and he had to wait, like he said, we heard. Anthony Van Dyke's had to go back, but ultimately, look, with 150 to run, Anthony Van Dyke was there. He was there if he was good enough. We've seen her do this before. She pins the ears back. She doesn't want to let them go past her, and she's a winner. She's beaten some formidable opposition. What about the run from the third place getter, if you don't mind? The chosen one for the Baker Forsman camp, quite remarkable to produce the third. I couldn't have had it running third, and I don't think many would have. But as the race itself, it was a fantastic spectacle. We saw 2 great horses fight out the finish. That's what you want to see. And the best horse won on the day.
And 3 of the best training regimes you'll find anywhere in the world. Over in Ireland, the O'Brien camp, of course, running second. Waller here, and over in New Zealand, Waller's original home, the Murray Baker, who's brought a host of champions across to Australia over the last couple of decades. Here's the chopper view. You can see they're Very Elegant in the red colours, just getting to the outside, just behind that wall of leading horses. In between horses getting a split now is the chosen one with a pink cap. Coming off Very Elegant's back, or sort of to her outside, is Anthony Van Dyke. He levels up. I reckon he gets within about a head of her in a moment's time. And then she, as Hutchie said, just pins her ears back and gets the job done. Some brave runs. Prince of Aaron's run another good race in Australia. I thought Finch was pretty good after being wide without any cover. Even Avilius was okay. And for a few moments there, Chapata looked like he was going to feature in the finish.
Oh, Prince of Aaron. He knows how to pick up a check here too. They'll be pretty happy with that performance as well. But you can't give her enough plaudits, really. Very Elegant. What a win. Great effort.
Absolutely. Very Elegant wins the 2020 Caulfield Cup. Here's the next event at Morphettville.